minute.
I've got you in my sights.
Welp, it's me and I'm back to bring you another episode of Fanny Force's gun review. Today, we'll look at one of the most recognizable guns in Phantom Forces, most utilized by Tryhards. It's an AR. It fires fast. And it is the best Raifu. It's the HK416. The HK416 is basically the German take on the AR-15 platform. That's just about it. No, seriously. The only reason why the HK416 became a thing is because the Germans, HK to be exact, wanted to create an AR-15 of their own. Just like the vast majority of the AR-15s and assault rifles out there, it uses the standard 5.56 NATO rounds. Now, how did it get so popular? The HK416 is basically a direct upgrade from the M4 series, because of its usage of a piston-driven gas port instead of the standard Eugene Stoner design. It is the first of its design on the AR-15 platform, and it has been used by the AK series. In fact, the piston-driven gas port is one of the main reasons why the AK-47 is known to be reliable. Somehow, the HK416 managed to find its way into the popular mobile game that is known as Girls Frontline, where guns get turned into anime girls. HK416 is a part of the popular 404 squad, which consists of UMP45, UMP9, G11, and the HK416. And so began the popularity of the HK416. Now on to Fanny Forces. The Tryhard 416 is unlocked at a decently high rank of 64. Around that rank, that's when players become to be a beginner Tryhard. That's hell they are walking into. Unlike most ARs, which average at around 700 RPM, the HK416 is able to fire at a whopping 850 rounds per minute. The only other ARs that could beat that rate of fire are the ASVAL, the FAMAS, most of the burst guns, and the M231. However, unlike all of the guns that I mentioned, the HK416 doesn't have any true downside. The ASVAL needs an extended mag to be viable. The FAMAS, while it could be used on its own, is still limited without the G2 conversion. The burst guns aren't truly automatic, and the M231's recoil requires mastery. The HK416, on the other hand, only needs the standard attachment options, therefore, making it the easiest to use. Even so, it's also considered better than the HK21 and the MG3, since it doesn't have god-awful recoil and a long reload time. Speaking about its reload, despite being an AR-15 platform, it doesn't have the same reload as the M16 or the M4 series, since it would make it broken. Instead, it has an entirely new reload animation, and has a tactical reload of 2.7 seconds and an empty reload at 3.5 seconds, which is a bit slow on the AR spectrum, but still faster than most LMGs. Now let's take a look at the damage values of best Raifu. As you could see, these damage values are pretty average for an assault rifle. 31 at maximum to 24 at minimum. Its damage range is pretty decent. Without the long barrel attachment, it has a damage range of 80 studs to 160 studs. However, its true power doesn't come from its damage, but its rate of fire. As I had said earlier, the rate of fire is only beaten by few, but doesn't have any major drawbacks like the others. Sure, the PDWs have a better rate of fire, but we don't talk about those here. The HK416 does have a special conversion. Aside from the standard AP, to 23 Remington, hollow point, and tracerless, it has the 300 blackout conversion, which turns it into the HK337. It gives it better damage values at close range, while trading damage range. In my eyes, the HK337 isn't worth it, unless you're playing in close range maps like Locker. Not only that, it's no longer best Raifu. Why would you massacre her like that? The HK416 has a muzzle velocity of 2500 studs per second, but let's be real, no one cares about muzzle velocity when it comes down to automatic weapons, unless you're trying to suppress someone. It's an assault rifle, not an LMG. If you really care about muzzle velocity, you could use the long barrel and increase the muzzle velocity to 2625 studs per second, but at the cost of maximum damage range. Now if you want to go full sweat, or make the best out of your Raifu, use these following attachments. A sight of choice, preferably the reflex sight. If you can, use the DCL-120 sight, since it has the magical property to reduce recoil. A compensator to control its horizontal recoil. The long barrel lets it keep its 4-shot capability for longer ranges, so it is up to you to decide whether you would want better recoil control or a more consistent time to kill. A pistol grip to reduce the rotational recoil, which is the HK416's main weakness, and a full stock to reduce recoil even further. So how do you use the best Raifu and the most sweatiest gun in all of Phantom Forces? It's simple. Run around and shoot the enemy first. You're best suited to close to mid ranges thanks to your recoil. Even with the best attachments, you could still see its way side to side a bit. You shouldn't be using best Raifu at distances, but if you force her to, she might as well be able to do so, although it would require 5 shots beyond 160 studs. Play aggressively. The only thing that could possibly stop you are snipers, shotgunners, and slow reaction. Now get out there and play with your best Raifu, or become the next sweatiest tryhard in your lobby. Like if you find this useful, and subscribe for more Fanny Forces content.